So welcome to the fourth Crippled System video battle report. My name is Nathan Ridiafan. I am the host of this game because I did not play in it. The people who did play to it are on opposite sides of me. To the left, I have...
this is Jordan Boishu, Atomisk on what limited forums I actually visit.
Boishu, is that how you pronounce the Frenchy thing?
Yes.
Every time I hear his last name, I'm like, I can never...
I've never heard it out loud.
I've heard Jeremy say it, and I always think Jeremy...
I think it's the first time I've said it. I usually don't try to say it. It's
like
not.
you can't even say your own name. It's like
No, I just don't want... Yeah, I don't want to...
And to my right is Mr. Jelly Pants.
Jelly Pants. That's good.
You have a real name, though.
Brian.
Yes.
I played my Cryx today.
Yes, I have my Doom Reaver spam list.
Well, here, let me go ahead and we can start watching. I'll crack open my delicious, nutritious Diet Coke.
Is it RC10 Cola?
It is not. It's
there we are. We're shaking hands.
A game.
We're friendly. We've already deployed. In this matchup, Khador's going first. We were joking beforehand that's a pretty...
it was a third of the game. A third of the game is getting the die to go first. A third of the game is terrain. And then I forgot what I said for the last third.
Butcher's focus on the turn you want
to
beat.
That
might have been it.
I'm playing my E-Denny tournament list. You're playing your E-Butcher tournament list. We've never faced off. We've both won some tournaments lately with these lists.
The only tournaments that I have won with my list are tournaments that you have been running. So I have not actually crossed you with any of your lists.
Well, yeah, but still, but you've had some Cryx experience with this list, and I have not had any experience against your list. I usually prefer to save my matchups against good lists in tournaments.
As someone who hasn't watched this game, so I'll just say that right away, so people don't worry that I'm gonna ruin the ending like I did for my own session report. This is your really shooty P-Denny list, isn't it, Brian?
Nope, this is E-Denny.
Oh, this is your E-Denny.
I specifically didn't bring. I brought my stand. Well. It's basically E-Denny, Nightmare, who I love with E-Denny, Bane Knights, Tartarus, Bile Thralls, Wither Shadow Combine, 2 Pistol Race. I put Gerlach in. I dropped Dareth Wraith, who I love. But I think Gerlach has some potential.
I was incredibly surprised that your only real unit of infantry, melee infantry, was the Bane Knights, your other unit of infantry being the Bile Thralls. I was expecting a full unit of Bane Thralls. I really want to see Cryx players with 2 to 3 units of melee infantry, because that just feeds my feet. And you didn't have that.
And a lot of opponents want that. And so when you going first, obviously you're trying to. I think your pregame. Well, I guess you can tell what your pregame idea was.
I'm pretty much running straight at you because that's what my list does. I want you to feat to get into the zone. I really wanted to go first, and luckily I won that. I didn't want you to feat to keep me out of the zone. We had both agreed, basically, once I got the die to roll first, that this was one of our casters was going to die. It was probably not going to go to the 4th round. Surprised it didn't.
We were joking how fast the game would be, and you're really pushing. You're really hoping to push me into a turn 1 feat, because if I advance, you're going to have charges all over the place. If I don't feat early, I'm really going to have some challenges.
I really wanted you to feat bottom of 1. I knew you'd get almost the whole army. But you wouldn't actually do much damage that turn. Your damage would come the following turn with me standing there. That was something I was willing to take on the chin, because I didn't think that you'd be able to kill Butcher on that bottom of 2 if you feat bottom of 1.
Well, and that's most armies when they get a lot of times armies get hit by Denny's feat, and then I get the hit, and then I get the following turn. So your strategy is a good one in my opinion. You're really doing your best to not to mitigate that.
I like that his strategy of rolling to go first and then running forward maximum speed is a good strategy.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to be a little careful on positioning, but he's really just.
I'm pretty much running as fast as I can. I am having my units interweaved a little bit, 2 units interweaved. It's something I try and do a lot more when abomination checks actually matter. Your army, for the most part, doesn't care. If I were facing an opponent where they had, if you had Satixis and you weren't doing E-Scar, and I expect you to hit me with those units, I would make sure that every time you try to engage a model, you provoke at least 2 checks, and if you try and engage the whole unit, you're going to take 4 to 5 or all 6.
Armies like this one is one of the reasons why I like having an entire, mostly undead army. This and like having to face against like E-Gaspy or a carnivore player like if I get a Ravana, or just various casters who take advantage of either living or command checks. So
5 or 6 years from now, I'll be happy to play my convergence for that reason.
Yeah. So you're moving up, but I'm thinking the entire time, I'm like, do I feat? And really, it comes down to me, because the whole entire game, I'm thinking, at some point, I'm going to kill a bunch of your army, and then Fenris is going to run up me, Butcher's going to feet, and then Fenris is going to kill me. That's in my mind what's going to happen in this game if I'm not extremely careful. Since you're moving in Fenris back, I'm like, I got excited, then he went back a few inches, and I got sad.
How much of that is because I feeded on your entire army on Saturday? Did I teach you to stay back a little bit? It was the one good thing I did that day.
Oh, we're also playing. Is this fire? Is this a scenario? It's the three. These things will explode in
it's
a fiery
supply and demand. I think or something. These are the ones that give like the free charge.
I was worried about the fact that you had feeded on my entire army, but I'm kind of willing to accept that if I can get Brian to feet bottom of 1. I'm making it juicy. I'm making it so that he can hit. I mean, if Denny feats and charges up, she's gonna get Fenris, she's gonna get Butcher, she's gonna get Conquest and everything else. But I'm willing to take that if under his feet he doesn't do any damage on that turn.
Right. Okay. That's why like his Pete Denny shooty list probably would have annihilated the living
and
crap
right now,
out of you.
Right now I'm really debating, do I charge forward and feet? I'm like, if I can get Butcher, I would do it, but I'm measuring it. I'm pretty confident the Butcher is an inch too far away, and I'm like, where's Dareth Wraith when I need him? It's like, if I had Dareth Wraith, I would have probably got the 1 inch charge.
Well, and the thing is, your prey on Nightmare is actually the
middle objective.
Objective. So if you were going to feed on me, you'd be trying to kill.
What a douchey
Butcher.
way to always be +2 speed.
Yeah. You'd be trying to kill Butcher with Nightmare, and you actually want the prey to go to Butcher that turn. So on your bottom of 2, you want to kill the objective before Nightmare goes. And
yep. But I think about here, I'm still thinking of so basically, I'm just debating, can I do it? And I'm pretty sure Butcher's just an inch away. And if I go for it and look at Butcher, I know I'm going to die because he'll clear his own path and just kill too many things and probably get my caster in serious trouble. Then I'm like, well, my only other options, in my mind, a pretty awful option. I'm like, instead of going forward, I'm going to move him. Well, you'll see here in a second, but I'm having like, my brain is like, just can't fathom.
I bet you wanted to go first.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you should have rolled higher.
We just posted the battle report number 3 today, and I have to say Jeff had the nicest area, like where the models, like my cards go across the entire table. I have my tokens kind of all pre-labeled, but Jeff had like just 1/4 of the table with all the stuff, and everything else was clean. He's like been the cleanest like table player I've seen. So I tried to make my front area.
He does put his dice back into the little brick. Between rolls.
It's amazing how, because I mean, when you look at a table, sometimes there's like, the models, but then you get all this extra stuff, which kind of takes away from the look of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
And as I was watching our other battle reports, I was just amazed at how clean Jeff keeps his side of the board.
It was amusing. Neither Brian or I are very concerned at all about the death clock in this game.
Yeah,
we realize this game is not going to go very long in terms of rounds, and if a game was ever decided by inches and quarter inches, this is that game.
Yeah. Well, and I know wherever interesting discussion that I've been having with some people is that the death clock is on average half an hour longer than a time tournaments game, and so we're discussing whether that means that time games need to be longer or death clock needs to be shorter. Like if death clock was 45 minutes apiece instead of 55 or 60, something like that.
I prefer the 12-minute turn versus 10 minutes. I mean, I know 10 minutes is fast, but that 10 minutes sometimes it's so pressure cooking. Unless you played a lot. Like a lot of us played enough that it's very hard to.
And that's the thing is, those people are the ones like Death Clock, because of its name, like it sounds like some hyper competitive, harder version. In reality, it's easier. It's less stress, and you have plenty of time.
My pistol race is trying to snipe some of those.
Two pistol race will each kill 2 models.
Mine didn't.
Because if I hit with the first one, then I'm boosting my second hit since I only need 3s to kill. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm just going to move my army a little bit forward, but I'm trying to clear as many of his frontline ones as forward, because my entire army is going to move 4 inches forward.
Right.
Which I'm actually very paranoid about, because depending on how, I know he'll jam me and then I'll feat, but depending on how I get jammed, I just don't have a lot of confidence in some strategy.
Well, if nothing else, you'd be able to contest the zone. It's not like he's going to score.
Correct. He won't be able to score.
At the very worst, you'll get something trampled or some incorporeal thing will run into there.
Well, no, he has to kill the objective. Can't be killed until bottom of 2.
Oh, that's a good point too.
So he doesn't have to put. Yeah,
right. But if you jam him too hard and if he can't get into the zone on his bottom of 2, then you could score top of 3 more easily.
That's unlikely, but.
Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I just looking at the board right now. Like, I don't. If he moves up only 4 inches, and all those Doom Reavers jam him completely on his side of that.
Yeah,
scenario.
there's all possible.
So,
there's all these angles
he gets
that
to kill all of my models between minus 3 defense. That's really the only thing that protects the Doom Reavers is that without Curse, Bane units need 7s to hit me. That's the only thing that actually protects me.
It does actually, and I love it. Actually, I'm moving my Bane Knight units. I put my pistol. I know my pistol race it can get charged real easily. So I'm gonna put 2 Bane Knights on one each side of it and keep the rest back. So of course, if he goes in and he can trigger vengeance.
Look at Nightmare run up.
Yeah, Nightmare. Yeah.
He was very daring.
That was a run.
Is he 10 inches from the scenario? That's the important thing.
Yeah.
No, he was not. Now he is. Yeah.
I did give him a focus for that run.
There we go.
Brave Sir Robin.
Now it's a Speed 8 Heavy Jack.
Yeah, with stealth.
Oh, it's so sexy.
I cannot stop playing the number with you, Denny. It is just before this game started, I had killed like 5 of my last 6 opponents with Nightmare under you, Denny. Before this game had started,
he's so sexy.
I'm very happy. The dice box, you can see our rolls pretty well.
Great.
We really
you can see the clocks really well, and you can see the rolls well.
Per several of my games, I believe I made less than 20 dice rolls over the course of the entire game.
Yeah, we don't really. Yeah, it's a very straight in here. Here goes my caster. She's currently corporal. I'm only thing I care about in corporal for is the guns on his colossal, because obviously Doom Reavers can hit, but I'm paranoid of any just crit dev on my caster to have her go flying away. So
speaking of like crit devs and going flying and stuff like that, it's kind of speaking of because 40% of them it's a thing. How about those new character journeymen? Did you guys get a chance to look at those?
I only looked at. I'm so bad, even though I got the. I went all in on the money. I just bought. Here comes my main name. I feel so proud about this because I put him on. I'm like, if he kills my pistol wraith, he's going to give me vengeance, and the rest are all their general. A couple of them are being brave, but the rest are pretty much just.
Pansies.
Yep. It was tempting, but the pistol race behind a wall, so I have to roll. What is he? Defense 16.
Defense 16.
So I got to roll a 9. It's
I figured.
Look at Captain Spoiler Pants revealing that he didn't go after the pistol wraith.
Well, we'll see, but I mean, it was tempting. I knew it would be a tempting thing, and actually, he didn't take the baits. I was a little sad on his turn because he did not. Well, we'll keep spoiling him. He did not give me vengeance, so I was very sad. Stupid players who are smarter.
As soon as we start into my. Top of 2, we'll see. Well, in hindsight, here's what I did wrong.
That's true, but we'll see. We both. I mean, I make a pretty. We both actually make mistakes. We'll see which one's bigger, obviously, when we get to that point. But
we're not just going to discuss them all 3 rounds ahead of time we are so far.
So now I'm. Let's just talk about next round. So basically,
I'm hypocritical of me. Now I know why people are annoyed when I do that with my session.
The game goes fast in terms of rounds, but as far as how much action takes place, I would say this is very slow-paced, technical game. We're both very deliberate.
This game. Both of us are. I really feel there's my Bane Biothrows running. There's a huge. I know this game is. I mean, my caster has to find the danger zone and just kind of live in it. There's no. I have this
danger zone.
Exactly. I have a razor thin edge that I need to push on this game because there's every model. If you can get 2 models on my caster at any given time, my caster will die. I mean,
how does that work, Nate? If 3 Doom Reavers with rage get on a Denegra?
I don't know. I couldn't see through all the 6s. I'm 666. Oh wait, I forgot to roll a 4th die. God.
So yeah.
Sons of the bitches.
But no, I think you'd mentioned earlier, if there had been some guns in the list. If I see a Cryx player, and it's probably going to be either Denny, and they have Nis or Pirates or any amount of guns. I just absolutely can't put my list on the table.
And some Cryx players just love their infantry, their melee, which is good because it's great. But man, at the very least, I will always have 6 points and 2 pistol wraiths, or I'm going to have, or if I take a pistol wraith out, I'm adding in some other shooting. To me, it's so critical to have some type of shooting in.
Well, the Pirates are best of both worlds. Like with any of the debuff caster, especially Denny with Crippling Grasp or either the Denny feats, Pirates either in melee or shooting will just annihilate the world.
I think you rolled a 4.
He rolled a 4. Yep.
I was very fortunate. I did not roll low focus any of the turns with Butcher.
Son of a bitch!
That was the that was the third key to my plan. That that came through. It was never rolling less than a 4.
So here, I realize I'm being really clever. All my stealth models are around my caster, who's currently corporal. So now in my mind, I'm like, man, if he gets that conquest within range and hits my caster, but every core bit of my army is going to go flying. Because my caster was corporal. I had Tartarus, Wither Shadow Combine, and Nightmare just surrounding her.
That's right. You had said all of this is stealth, and I said your caster, and you had no.
I'm relying on my defense, and you not rolling a crit to like ruin my life. So we'll see what happens here.
I've played against Jordan before. He'll get the crit.
No, I only get the crit when I don't need it, and it only like pains my opponent even further.
Right.
When I actually need it to win the game, it will not happen. It won't even hit.
So I'm not sure we're figuring
so yes,
out
this is
Talking about the latest episode of Sex and the City or something.
I love her. She's pretty.
This is the key turn where I have to prepare for the Den defeat. The Den defeat is coming next turn.
It's completely obvious. I'm going to defeat the following
There's
turn.
no way you're going to save it, and here's where I feel, in hindsight, how I should have done things slightly differently, and I'll go into it as I start to move the units. I do give Conquest several.
Which is my worst nightmare. So I'm like, damn it, he's
loading it up. Something's happening.
I'm like, oh, my caster's gonna go flying 6 inches back.
I'm not worried about emptying Butcher this turn. You're not gonna kill me this turn.
I love when people say that. By the way,
you're gonna prep to kill me the next turn.
Yeah.
Right, he's most likely going to kill your army this
turn. As a Cryx player, it's the first
turn.
question you should ask your opponent when you're about to start your turn is what's your defense and what's your current defense and armor of your caster. Even if you're not going to kill your opponent, it freaks them out when they're playing against Cryx. That's your first question.
Oh yeah.
It's always a good first question. Even when the game starts, what's your current defense armor before you move a model? Oh my god, I'm about to die.
Oh no.
So I'm just like, what the hell is going to happen here? Is just all this death? And I'm thinking, come on, get my Pistol Wraith. I think you're like, no, you're not going to get because now you're just running. Like, no, screw you. And I'm like, I made my command check for my Bane Knights. They passed.
I do recall that.
That Bane Knight's that Doom Reaver's gonna hide behind the train from the camera. Oop, he's hopping back out. He's like, I was hiding.
Line of sight.
Yeah,
he's back.
No, that's a different one. I don't know.
No, that's the same one.
I know that this should be double speed.
So I am prepping my turn, starting on that far side, and what I feel that I actually should have done with that unit, because jamming Bane Knights, Ghostly is not super helpful. What I actually should have done is I should have pretty much run them to the edge of the board where the clock is, to just be as close to you but as far to the side to be out of your feet. Because when your feet, I expect you're going to want to go towards the objective.
Whereas you're playing that guessing game, but you're trying to.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's what one thing you want to do against Edeni is basically you have to spread out more than you feel comfortable doing, and then I have to choose 1 to 2/3 of your army.
Yeah, I feel I should have had the unit on the far side towards the clock go towards that table edge to try and stay out. Or if you want to kill them, you have to bring your Bane Knights way towards that side of the table.
Oh my god, the Pistol Wraith! Oh my god!
I do have this unit where I go after the Pistol Wraith. He's too juicy not to try to kill.
Yeah, well, you forgot to feat with Butcher. You're going to get a rage token and nothing to do with it.
No.
Jordan. Look at Brian talk. He's adorable.
It's hilarious. Look what a nice shirt I'm wearing.
It is. That's a sexy shirt.
I wore it for the video podcast.
Speaking of sexy shirts, I'm excited to watch Pacific Rim tonight.
Oh yeah, we're going to be seeing that at 10 p.m.
Oh my god!
So if when you listen to this video in 2 weeks, when it's finally posted, we'll still be in the theater watching it nonstop.
Oh yes. Well, I may have finally woken up from passing out due to fluid loss.
I have tomorrow off, so if the movie is good, I will be seeing it multiple times tomorrow. If it's bad, I'll be murdering children.
I'm going to rank it on a scale of 1 to Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. And I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere in the middle there, which would make it the second best monster movie ever behind Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack.
I mean, no matter how good it is, it won't be as good as that movie.
No.
That's the perfect monster movie.
Yes.
So here's where I start to make another mistake. I should have just gone all out with this middle unit. The entire unit should have just gone straight towards your caster.
And I was honestly surprised you didn't do that. I figured those 6 miles were going to be jammed in my caster's face to keep me from doing some stuff. I mean,
because the more stuff that's in the way, the harder it is for him to even clear up the path to charge forward and feed on you.
Correct. They should have gone full on towards you. to just try and make it difficult for Denny to get far up the table when she feeds. And hint, hint, the objective becomes targetable and damageable, and I have stuff nearby it.
At this point, I'm like, ooh, I'm really giddy right now when I start at that objective. I'm like, ooh, my favorite spell is going to be cast on my turn.
Yep.
Which I haven't casted a few games. That's one thing when I play with Nightmare, I sometimes cast less spells because he just hogs up 3 focus.
Right.
But I mean, when he has 3 focus, things are, the world is dying.
Man, again, sorry, speaking of more focus, the choir doesn't, or not the choir, Menoth never needs to cast any spells with their new Journeyman Warcaster, because he just exists to put 3 focus on a heavy, which then gets the choir and vassal. Like, that seems disgusting.
I think him with Fortify on and running Adjudicator.
Here it comes.
Upkeeping.
My biggest fear in the world is coming in. He's aiming at my caster. He's aiming the gun at her. I'm like, oh, there goes my fucking day.
And he shoots at.
He's like, I shoot at Denny, of course. I am,
and I'm like, oh, my life. Oh,
I believe I am an inch short.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you're like trying to figure it out, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, thank God. I'm like, I mean, she might take some damage based on this drift here, but I'm like, whatever.
She's not going anywhere.
Flying.
Realizing how much focus I actually got in my first turn, what Butcher should have done was he should have Boundless Charge the Conquest, Boundless Charge himself. A Boundless Charge on himself, he's going and then charging forward towards something. He's going as far as if he had ran, and the Conquest would have been 1 inch further than he was with a run. That 1 inch might have been enough that I had range on Denny this turn. Yep. And if that had been in range and crit dev knocking you back, then that just makes you feeding that much worse.
Well, quick, roll 3 dice, see what you roll. Let's see if you would have crit.
Yeah, so I got a little lucky break there.
I don't have any dice.
No.
Here's a sad, nerdy thing. In detention, the study hall in high school and junior high, I used to make up Shadowrun characters. And Shadowrun uses D6s, but I didn't have dice. But pencils have 6 edges, so
you'd spin a pencil, or
I would just roll a pencil on the table, and that would be my D6.
And the same thing I was talking about with my far unit towards the clock. The unit nearest us that I had just moved, I should have pulled them towards the board edge as much as I could, so that if Denny's towards the center or 3 inches of that objective on either side, they're just out of range.
And the more thing, because I'm constantly afraid of you charging your caster forward, feeding, and then those guys running, and then getting the couple-inch move and swing.
Right, because now she's going to be able to feed and get literally your entire army.
She does get she gets almost everything.
But
yeah, like
I definitely
feeling really happy right now. But you do a couple things that are really good that make me sad. You're about to do both of them, I think now. And I was very unhappy with all 3 things.
And this was I'm pleased with where Butcher is in terms of table forward, but I don't like her being directly across from Denny and Nightmare.
So you're doing the one thing I don't want you to be doing. You're guaranteeing Fenris and because you moved the dog back, so I already know Butcher's going over there. So I'm already going. Damn, I can't get the miles I'm most afraid of.
Yes, I do have to be careful with the dog does take A-bomb checks, and I believe Butcher's a command 7, so the dog does get frightened if I move him too close. Luckily, guard dog works regardless of whether or not he's afraid.
Yeah.
So you're positioning your caster at a really good spot, and I'm like, damn, well, I'm not going to. So I'm like, no, I'm still going to feed, but now I have to be extra careful because your caster.
Well, it seems to me if you charge that one Doom Reaver that's kind of it's in between the objective and the wall there.
Yeah.
Like it seems just from eyeballing this distance that
I probably could have got
gets you close enough to Butcher,
possibly Butcher, but not Fenris as well, and that's my biggest concern is I get one but not the other. And he made it that if I did do that, I can't.
The thing is, though, is if you would have gotten Butcher and don't put any of your army within 12 of me, then I can't feat the following turn to get the tokens to give to Fenris kill you.
But I know I'm going to be going in all over the place to kill as many, and I'm going to feed on you, and I'm just going to try to do as massive damage. So I don't have enough confidence.
No, this was a strong learning experience for me. I'd never played against Denny. With this army, I've played against Gatsby. I think I generally have a good matchup. What P Scar runs, I think I generally have a good matchup. I've played that. P Denny, I do okay against just because she counts a little bit more on spells.
It depends. Again, it has to if somebody if you Let me try a sentence again. If you face a P. Denny list that has 2 shooty units,
I can't play my list. No, yes.
You literally can't.
Yep.
Like, if it's Nis and Crows or Nis and Pirates or Nis and
no,
whatever.
yeah, my list wants to see Satixis, 2 units of Banes. That's what I want to see.
So I'm doing my caster first, I'm pretty sure, because I'm like, I just need to get... And I know I'm going to Hellmouth the objective, because I'm going to pull in... I'm going to just kill 4 Doom Reavers for free.
Yeah, that was...
so I'm basically trying... I'm trying to go forward to get as many models and Hellmouth it, and then I'm also trying to... what I sometimes do, which is funny, I accidentally Hellmouth a model and pull myself in, so I'm making sure I'm also... In here, I'm just doing my initial check. I'm like, it's just not good.
I believe you move up in increments of 1/4 and 1/2 inches and measure your control. We should count. So there was one there. There's a second move and measuring control. Let's see how high it goes.
It's this back
Is this a new drinking game?
Take a shot when Brian moves a model a 1/2 inch.
If someone would have given me a Squire, I would have been fine.
There we go.
There we go. All right, I think that's 3.
Yeah.
What about... You should get the corollary. 4... You should get the corollary. It's better than a Squire.
He wants to make sure he gets the guy who's behind rough terrain. I don't.
Well, because you can still run along the edge. I'm just trying to do as much as I can.
He doesn't like that one guy.
Yeah, that one. It was the cape.
I
gave that model a cape.
Making sure I'm not within 3 inches of that thing. I'm like, okay, here I'm good.
You were 3 and a 16th.
I am exactly what I'm at. And I'm also going to blow all of my focus, because I'm like, if I do die, if I've missed something here, I'm going to die. So having 1 or 2 focus on my casters are
no, correct. Yeah, if I can get 2 to 3 Doom Reavers to you and hit you.
Hey, way to roll on the wrong. Yeah, there's Jordan pointing at the box.
The difference between the focus doesn't particularly matter.
Yeah. Right.
And Hellmouth doesn't give a rat's ass about it. It's just you just move, touch it, so the terrain doesn't matter. It's like boop boop.
Terrain matters, aren't they? Like pulled a certain distance.
It's up to the
it's
up to drag.
It's up to.
Okay. So I must be thinking of the Hulk hands thing where he pushes and pulls.
And I am currently in corporal, so I'm safe from the guns.
Yeah,
as well.
and
one Snake Eyes.
As soon as he did that, I just that unit was going to die anyways. They should have been attacks from. For Coven or something.
You didn't roll your damage on the objective.
I'm right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
No,
Scenario was a tertiary concern in this game.
Still.
But I want the objective to die for many reasons.
It'll be, Nate, guess how the objectives die. Or the 2 objectives die. It'll be...
Whoa! Well, spoilers is...
Well, let's see. Well, first one's going to die here. And the second one, actually, I'll go over in a minute, was my big mistake. And when your big mistake is later in the game, it usually has a very bad consequence, which we'll see how that goes. So I'm venoming the marker just to do some more damage to it. I'm trying to, because I can't target the Doom Reaver, I'm just doing some cheesy...
Yeah, Sai also...
I have a really great spray coming up here with another model that manipulates the Doom Reaver army. I've corroded the objective. Ha!
Suck on that objective.
It does like 8 damage is corroded. Of course, I have a... So my caster's like, I sit it in the wind. I'm like, well, and I'm just thinking, okay, if I'm screwed up and Fenris comes flying in, I'm just dead. But I will see where I can position.
Well, and the thing is that people don't realize is all that Fenris gives me over the Doom Reavers when you count
it's emotional
feat tokens is the 1 higher mat and the 2 more.
You're marking what's free right now.
2 more speed.
Your Fenris is scary looking, so you're right. It may just
way to knock my models over, Brian.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Game state.
Fenris is scary.
But no, when it comes to feat tokens, though, he's truly not any more dangerous than the rest of them.
Distance.
Are you telling me you did all those 1/4 inch movements to get that one guy, and he's still marked as not being in the feet?
It doesn't actually move. It's in the feet.
Okay.
Yeah. That was.
There's a token next to it.
I know. No, I don't let him get away with that crap. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm just going to go in and kill. Oh, here comes my spray. I'm targeting Butcher.
Yeah.
And I get, these are 3 non-feeded models too, which I'm very.
He does an amazing job of feeding on so much of my army and then killing, prioritizing and killing everything that wasn't under the feet. I mean, as I said, the 2 units that have 1 or 2 members that aren't under the feet should be against the table edge, and the unit that he sucked in with Hellmouth should have been across the zone.
Look at those good rolls.
Yeah,
8,
just
8.
all die.
I rolled. There you go. That's you call Cryx dice right there.
I believe over the course of the game, you probably made 3 times as many dice rolls as I did.
Well, he's going to have 3 times as many models in a second.
Yes,
that was a low roll. I only rolled a 7 there. That was pretty.
I do lose a lot of Doom Reavers. I do appreciate the 13-14 stat though in Doom Reavers. I think
that is pretty impressive for a stat line.
I think it is much better than the 12-15 though. The one higher defense means everything on stuff that's Matt and Rat 6 needing 7s, and the one higher armor
meaningless
is completely meaningless.
Puppet strings on Nightmare.
It's decent against blast damage, but only a little bit.
I find that blast damage is either going to be POW 6 and I shrug it off, or it's POW 8 and 9 and you're.
Well, POW 8, the difference between Armor 14 and Armor 15 is that same 6 or 7 that you're talking about the defense. It's
Gerlach coming on in.
Yes.
He's my living model liability, but
I'm still telling you, taking out Gerlach and some other stuff and getting a second unit of infantry to feed my feet would be very. I'd really appreciate. I would appreciate you getting Statixis Blood Witches. I enjoy not caring about their in corporal, and I enjoy fearing them very much.
I believe you. Oh, Bile Thrall is full advance. Look at them go. They're out of control. Boom.
Boom! Spraying Bile Thralls.
Nope, just purge. I didn't even spray. Everything screwed.
Okay. Oh, that was your damage. It would have hit. Yeah. You rolled a 9, it would have hit. Are they at 3 or 4?
I damaged the objective. My own objective there.
Hint.
Yeah. Corrosion everywhere. So now it's just a matter of just running some crap around. What the hell is that thing? That's my arc node.
Oh, good. That red token's off that guy. When did that happen?
It just vanished.
Wow, it's freaking
sleight of hand.
Seriously, it's not there now, and it was there. I'm frightened and confused.
You can tell how closely we're watching this.
There's like one video we recorded that Matty Cave posted where objective just moved suddenly. Like no one was near it. It just shifted.
Oh, there was a flag or something.
A flag just shifted in magic. Here you go. Nightmare's just taking a little casual jaunt up to the objective. I'm like, if I kill it, I'm going to take a damage roll no matter where I'm at. Somebody else is, hug it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll murder it.
If you rotated him slightly, he might have been able to get a free strike on Fenris if Fenris came in there.
That is that's another mistake I did. I'm like, as soon as I stopped him like that, I'm like, because I was trying to stop the Fenris run by, but I positioned him very poorly.
Yes, he's in a position that on I guess the left side of the video that you're seeing, if I scoot, or the bottom side towards the dice. If I scoot along that side, I can probably stay in.
And you can get reach to Denny and not give
I can get reach in Denny and not give
up
a free strike. Even probably on a small base model, much less a large base model.
And I don't realize my mistake yet, but I realize that my turn ends.
He should be facing directly towards that
other side,
the objective on the top of the screen.
Yep.
Like that would be a good angle to guarantee the free strike.
So
and that's something that people abuse your facings if you're trying to force free strikes.
And I changed the prey target to butcher because it's game's going
putting prey on something that both you will be able to kill and your opponent will want to kill is ridiculous.
That is running up and kind of hang out. He's feeling pretty safe.
Oh yeah, praying the objectives is a douchey, amazing thing to do.
Tartarus safe. We'll see.
What's also annoying, by the way, is scenarios like this with synergy casters, because you have your caster just walk up and auto hit an objective
and build a synergy
chain. Yeah, very frustrating to face.
Some of my Banes now are going full in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to lose some of these, so I'll just kill. I'm just trying to kill as many Bane or as Doom as I can to get some good positioning.
Did you just call Brian on an overcharge there, Jordan? Is that what just happened?
I think it was.
I had a change.
I think it was facing. He had some guys that they'd charge. I knew who they charge, and they're not facing that model at all.
Well, to be fair, my Bane Knights are in bits. If Privateer Press were to make plastic Bane Knights, I would throw all 20 of my Bane Knights in the garbage, and I would buy 3 full units.
I don't think you have a single Bane Knight that's not either the bottom shaft of their spear or part of their shield or the top half.
And they're all brass rotted too. Yeah, how did you shatter a brass rod?
It's just because you have to put the tip to the thing in the brass rod, and even Andy did it. It's still
just the tip.
Oh, there's my 4 dice. I'm like,
they're worse than having to deal with the metal
rolling
iron
damage.
things.
I think they literally can't live.
I told him that, and he consisted on still rolling dice.
It's fun to roll dice.
It is fun to roll 4 dice damage. You can throw a location one in there too, just for the heck of it.
So I'm feeling pretty good right now. To me, Butcher can't feat and charge 4.
You can't really see it. There is a Bane Knight just to the right of the wall.
I was going to point at it.
But you were gonna. I'm glad our viewers could see it.
It's
hard to see right here, but yes,
I can see the spear sticking up on the wall.
And I'm like, okay, Butcher, even though he's not feeding on, he can charge forward. I forgot he had boundless charge. B, there's an objective in the way. There's no way he can get past that objective. I mean, that objective, it's his objective. There's no way he would kill his own objective. So I'm feeling pretty safe and confident that he can't even feat, because my caster is well outside of the range.
I like the pistol wraith positioning. He just came up. He did just kill, I believe, 2 models that weren't under the feet, preventing 2 more charges.
Yep, which is my big key, which is also a mistake, which we'll go over in a second why. But that was a big. I was very happy at the moment. I'm happy.
Hooray.
Brian.
I have lost quite a bit of Doom Reavers. You can see the Doom Reavers in the upper right-hand side. I'm accustomed to losing at least 6 to 8 on any turn.
Don't you have 10 left right now? I only see maybe 11.
There's a lot that
you roll. What do you roll for focus?
I believe I rolled a 5, so it became 6.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm where am I at? Now I'm like, oh yeah, Nightmare should be should be angled better, and I still. And I think now you're like, yeah, I'll just have those. You're talking about.
It takes me a while to figure out what's going on. I realize that I'm in a very, very bad spot in this game. I can't weather your next turn and hope to have anything left that's going to threaten Denny. I have to do something major, and that's I'm thinking I have to end the game by killing Denny, or I have to somehow kill Nightmare and Tartarus to really. And I don't think. I think my chances of going after Denny after some thought is much more likely than somehow killing those 2 big guys. It's just, with Denny being out there in the open, if I can get 2 Doom Reavers with 2 rage tokens each to walk up and attack and then boost to hit, it's probably enough to kill her. So that's 9s to hit on 3 dice, and then 3 dice damage because of Weapon Master, -1 because she's a 14. Yep. So if I hit twice, she probably dies. If I can somehow manage more than 4, so that's what I'm looking for at this point. I'm looking for 4 rage tokens.
And you're seeing how far you can charge, and now you're like, I'm like, why did I put that pistol right there? That pistol right is only there for your benefit now. I mean, and I went that far forward to shoot the models that were outside the feet. So I was.
If you had gone to the minimum distance to shoot the models that were outside of the feet, I think you would have been a little further back. I don't recall who you shot. I'm not sure if you'd have been far enough back. It might have been more advantageous if you were an inch further back.
It was still pretty close. I think they were like only 8 inches or 9 inches away.
So yeah, if you had been further away.
So now you're like.
I guess I'm just not seeing much that you can even give rage tokens to that it matters.
Oh,
the 2 guys down on the bottom here are nowhere near being in your control area.
I think that there's. Well, where it's the question of where Butcher's going to be
at the end.
Yeah.
At the end of his turn, where the Doom Reavers are going to be, and I think that you can't see, but there's. Yeah, I want to say that there is a Doom Reaver behind the Conquest that isn't feated.
That's not possible. At least I don't think it is. I mean, with how far her control area is stretched out.
No,
any Doom Reaver there must have been caught.
He'd be caught because
I see Fenris, 2 Doom Reavers down here, Butcher, and there's a Doom Reaver right next to the Butcher.
Yep.
And then the dog.
Yep. They're all.
I mean, there's like literally 6 models that aren't feeded on.
Correct. But he only needs like 2 of them.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And I'm like, okay, which 2 are going to make it there? So now you're realizing now you're like, okay, you want to kill that objective.
I can advance, or I can turn to face, right, Brian?
Yep. So I'm like, oh crap, because I should have shot my pistol right at those guys by the objective to try to stop this.
Yeah.
But now he's just going to use his unit. Now you're measuring your melee range. So I'm like, oh crap. He's going to get that, and at the very least, he's going to just weave. Because if he charges into my Bane Knights, it's it's Butcher. He can just constantly keep attacking and moving. So I'm concerned. I'm like, well, maybe the objective can hold. I mean, it's only 2 Doom Reavers. It can handle that. Oh, he can also generate rage tokens because he's going to shoot his Colossal at some of my stuff and try to get a couple of rage tokens off the shooting.
Yes, I'm hoping that Butcher's going to be very far forward, probably past that piece of wall just above the scenario zone at the end of his feet, and that he'll essentially have gone first. So I'm hoping that 12 inches catches. I'm hoping that Butcher feeds, generates 2 or 3 rage tokens himself, and that Conquest can then shoot a Bane.
There's you realizing that you're not going to have any kind of
free strike.
Yep. And there's me going, oh.
Wah, wah. I'm really good at seeing these things in games I'm not playing. If only I saw them when I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when Denny backs up only to reach range to clear up a Doom Reaver that she misses and now doesn't actually just go run away.
It's fucking awful. Well, like I said, I wanted to get Nightmare through there, and who knows if things.
I think he should have just trampled. I think he should have just trampled and killed stuff.
Right, so you've got your game plan. Now you're pretty much you're just going.
I'm committed.
Which again, Death Clock gives you the time to do it. Because we both have 30 minutes, and we know you're going to win the next 10, or if you don't, I'll win 10 minutes after that. We don't need the rest of that clock. So one of us is going to be
fair. If you're watching this, no fair checking how much video is left. That's just cheating.
I'm saying 10ish. I mean, I don't know.
I know.
All of my games with this list, it's very clear whether it's going to be me going for scenario or me having to pull an assassination. I need the death clock to be able to feat. It's very difficult to do a full turn and feat under timed turns. But my opponent under timed turns, most people don't come into a game with a plan on how to deal with Doom Ravers. So the time turn also, I think, affects them more.
So here I'm already concerned because I'm like, that's theoretically possibly 2 models now that can potentially get to me based on where your caster at.
Yeah, and there's nothing with reach on because that's the scenario is only 6 inches wide. So I'm probably the further Doom Reaver's 3 inches beyond it. So now
you're going over the, and you're doing this in good order. You got the guys. You know you got some targets in range. Now you're working on getting the objective out of the way. You're doing all these before you even throw anything into it.
I probably should have done the objective before I ran those 2 models.
Well, either way, I mean, they're in the way at the very worst.
If I didn't kill the objective, I should have just gone after yours and been like, well, I'll get a scenario point.
Yeah, no,
and then they'll die because my guys die after they kill an objective.
So now you're
right.
Yeah, that's a pretty good roll.
I believe I do 8 damage and then 7. I believe I do exactly what I need to kill it. And it dies, and then they die.
Boom, boom. So now I'm concerned more. More concern is happening.
Yeah, because I mean, Butcher, I can just charge up inside there.
You can barely see the Bay Knight. He keeps pointing because there's a Bay Knight right there, and there's a Pistol Wraith.
Yeah.
So
those are very convenient for him.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you're casting Ravager, Boundless Charge. Boundless Charge. He has that.
That's a spell.
Yeah,
he can go over that shrub.
Boundless Charge, by the way, very, very good on casters now that we can have Redline from, was it Malakov?
Yes.
So that's that's
Redline's an amazing spell. That was,
so here
I really wanted him to be Boundless Charge.
Meh.
But now I have to run 2
No, they did a good job of giving almost all
so
of
here,
those
here
guys
was the mistake of the game.
Sentence.
Well, almost a mistake. Well, it kind of was.
No, it was the placement of Butcher.
Let's finish off the things here, then we'll go into it in just a second. But
so Butcher charges forward. I believe I charged the Pistol Wraith.
Yep. So you kill it.
They gave him battle group spells so they don't break the game.
You kill the you attack a Bane Knight first. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you swing at the Pistol Wraith, which actually misses, but you have Berserk, so you still get a free swing at it.
Correct.
Ravager, the Berserk plus the 360 Thresher, and he kills a lot of stuff.
And then it's auto dead. So now you're moving your
So here's what you can do is you can still measure control. So I use the 3-inch widget to measure 3 inches because that's how far my 1-inch move followed by reach is. So I'm doing a 3-inch control, and if you could see my face, you would see a great bit of disappointment because I'm about a tenth or
you're a millimeter.
You didn't charge quite far enough to.
I needed, so I was well within range of both the Pistol Wraith and the Bane Knight. Funny story, that Bane Knight was basically facing the wall, so he would not have gotten he didn't have free strikes.
Yes.
I needed to charge directly, not towards the first Bane Knight that I killed or the Pistol Wraith. I needed to go straight towards the first target that I was going to Ravager to.
Right.
I had the distance. We looked at other folks, and I definitely I could have been more towards that Bane Knight. If I had reached that second Bane Knight, I would have then probably gotten the Bane Knight behind him,
right.
And then there would have been the 4 tokens that I needed.
And half my army. Yeah. So now you're back.
And now, did you even get into your control area of those 2 guys over on the bottom side?
Not those 2.
I just realized there's a mistake that's going to come up in a minute here.
Well, my guess is that he's going to put rage tokens on guys who are feated on, and they're going to do stuff.
Maybe 1.
Yeah.
Well, no,
maybe not.
His feet.
We'll have to double check who puts it on. I think
there's the model that's behind the linear
right there under your tape measure right now. Yeah, that guy who's moving.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he could get the tokens.
He's going to get 1.
You're right, and then the other.
But
I think there's another one behind the just on one side of the conquest.
I can see him.
There's one right
there. We go.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the second one.
That one was up.
I'm surprised that one was too far away.
It was.
He was too busy trying to get the one at the bottom of the table that was near the wall there. He was too concerned with the one that would have to run around Pathfinder.
So now you're running Fenris over my Butcher to kind of more of a defense. I'm surprised.
I didn't know what I was doing with that. At this point, I'm like, well, I'm going to die.
Well, I mean, those aren't a whole bunch of Bane Knights or anything.
They don't even come into it.
Oh, spoiler again.
No, and I had forgotten.
Can Butcher give himself the?
He cannot give himself rage tokens.
All right, I was just curious. Because that'd be a nice way to get defensive, get the hell out of there.
Is it non-warlock or is it just not himself? Or is it non-warcaster just not himself?
It's non-warcaster.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. 2-caster games giving those to somebody else. Give them to Vlad.
Yeah. So yeah, E Butcher is non-warcaster. E Vlad's feet is non-character.
Yep.
That's why, if you do 2 casts with both of them, you want a flying Draken or Eliminators.
You blew
or even
Vile
Doom
Thrall.
Reavers. Yeah.
Good job. You pointed at 3 things.
So I made a mistake here again. I've engaged that Bile with my running guy. And I do still manage to hit him, and he dies.
I'm using the wrong tool here. Like, why isn't this making any sense? I'm like, because Jordan has the right tool.
I believe you used a reach marker.
I just grabbed the large instead of the small.
Yeah, if Butcher had been able to continue his moves, that one token there might have also fielded. So, Butcher would have 4, maybe 5. I'm really feeling that 4 would have been enough to kill Denny, or at least have a really good shot at it.
Oh, yeah, she's right there. If you can hit with both of them, which you do, maybe 75% of the time.
And then, if they both hit, she just dies. And, there's nothing about the roll that matters. They'd have to be incredibly low damage rolls.
And you can hypothetically one-shot her because you're rolling 4 dice damage.
No, 3 dice. I'm only giving him 2.
Right, but...
1 to move.
Oh, move and attack, and then one to boost the attack. Yeah.
Yeah, if I can manage more than 2, then yes, one of them who has 3 could one-shot her. How many boxes does she have? Is she a 16?
Yeah, 16.
So now you're giving out...
I could still one-shot her with 3 dice.
Now you have 2 fury.
Yeah.
That's super.
It takes Jordan dice to do. But.
Hey. Only against opponents I'm already beating.
So, 2 Doom Reavers get them. Your first...
I was doing fine in that game. I was very happy.
So, let's see here. First feat token, I think you're like, well, screw that. Now you're like, well, now you need to worry about my hitting. So you're like, let's...
to the 2 Doom Reavers that were up by Butcher, I give them each 1. Because I'm going after Tartarus at this point, and I don't feel that Fenris can make it over there.
Well, killing Tartarus is +2 defense for the Butcher.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about killing me right now is the Bane Knights.
And so there you go.
I just one-shot him.
Yep. Tartarus is gone, which was very important.
And then the other one who's behind the wall that we can't see, you don't think about doing this very much?
I just thought of
but
something
he should have been hugging the wall. Yeah, yes.
I just thought of something funny. Somebody has somebody has an imprint.
Yeah.
Not imprint, it's a spell.
It's the spell. It's a spell and an imprint.
Yeah. So, I know how this is ending.
Yeah, that Doom Reaver who's up there and is going to kill one Bane Knight, he should be hugging.
He's not in the way anymore.
You don't think about hugging a wall to prevent a charge?
Especially like a 4-inch high wall.
You don't think about hugging an obstruction.
Well, the obstruction is still technically currently
in the way.
Yeah, well, and it's currently blocking line of sight.
It true is.
For the moment.
Well, even Ghostly, they don't get the line of sight block. He just speed true, 8. I mean, he's speed 8.
Well, there is also another thing that'll come into play. So I'm pretty much okay. There is one Doom Reaver right next to Nightmare. Then I'm like, okay, I have to get rid of this. I have to kill a Doom Reaver, and I need to get my Arc Node in range to cast a spell at Butcher. So I have 2 things I want to do. I'm going to move. My goal is to move an Arc Node over within 8 inches of Butcher, kill the Doom Reaver next to Nightmare. I'm giving the Nightmare 3 focus, so I will be in a second. I'm vengeancing first before I do everything else.
So, Jordan, at what time do you catch on to the fact that Nightmare can go through walls?
At some point, I will ask him a question. I think it's around the time that I sit down.
Dejection.
I ask him, I'm like, oh, yeah, Ghostly, you can go through walls.
Yeah, I think it's when I give the 3 focus to the... Because why is Nightmare getting... Because at first...
Is he going to attack the Conquest? What's going on here?
I was going to score 2 points. Because so...
You have a point already. You have 2 points.
I have 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, you can just ride this out in scenario, no problem.
That's not good for the audience.
I don't know that Nightmare 1 rounds.
No, well, maybe.
Now,
with Denny, she has parasites.
With Tartarus
she has
dead.
curse. Yeah, she can only drop my armor by 2, and he's not Nightmare's prey.
Yeah.
So
and there's no Tartarus. So
you need the
that.
prey and Tartarus and the curse, I think, for him to one-round it.
Not curse. Death Shroud, you mean?
Dark Shroud from
Dark Shroud.
Tartarus.
But the curse from her. She has the curse of
Shadows.
Curse of Shadows.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because, she can drop my armor by 4, and he can be at a +2. So then he's rolling a 20 to a 16.
So Nightmare's been on fire for 2 turns, but he's only taking like 1 damage from it.
Well, I mean, he's it's like dice minus 6 or 7 on him.
Yeah.
He's an 18, right?
Yeah, he's an 18.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the Siren. The Siren is...
Yeah, that Siren did some work.
Because there is a ward off, because obviously I also need to get rid of the dog for the...
You don't really need to get rid of the dog.
Well, the dog helps. I mean, every defense, I hit it, and I just drop it.
I believe when we play this out, you talk about boosting your attack against Butcher, and then I point out that you're a 10 to my 12.
So, we figure it out eventually. I go, so here goes my arc now. So goal number 1 is done. I'm putting Ghostly on... this is where you're really like, Ghostly's going on a Nightmare. That's a problem.
Come on, Jordan, sit down.
he has a...
Aww.
There we go. There's a chair.
Oh, that's that.
There's a chair.
Somebody get me a scotch. Oh, you're so sad.
And now ironically, I have my Necrotech try to go up here and kill a model, which doesn't work because it's a Necrotech. But I'm finding his car like, what's the mat of a Necrotech?
Remember in Mark 1 when they could grab shit and hold it forever?
Yeah, Vice Grip. I've done that.
Vice Grip was pretty cool.
I would Vice Grip Jax without reach.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's such a dick move.
There's my Arc Node. And for those keeping track at home, I want to cast Marked for Death because not only does it give a -2 defense, I can charge without line of sight.
Yes.
So that's the other.
Yeah, that plus Ghostly.
Yeah. So that's
fuck you too.
What? What's your problem?
Only one Doom.
I'm reminded constantly of what in that list can actually be targeted by spells.
Is it your caster?
He's the caster, the dog, and the conquest.
Yeah, my Siren's been sprained a couple times.
No, I mean
I Helm with a bunch of stuff and I've been doing. I haven't been.
Yeah, your objectives were targetable. That's what you get for having easy to hit, immovable objectives.
Go get him.
Yeah.
Go get it, Necrotech. Go get it. Go get him. Roll that 7. Nope.
I'm Butcher 3 will have Hellmouth, I'm sure. That's what
give
the
him back,
Argyle. That'll be what the Argyle are for, is for Hellmouth.
They'll give him Unnatural Disaster back.
So time for the pistol.
You should be sad you didn't play when that spell existed.
I have no idea.
It was a 5-inch AoE, and anything it killed blew up into 3-inch AoE, and anything killed by those blew up into 3-inch AoEs, etc., etc.
So it was a chain
an
obliteration
chain
with Shatterstorm.
Yes.
How powerful were those 3-inch AoEs?
Enough.
Okay.
Enough. They were probably 7s or 8s, enough that they're going to kill infantry.
So now at the point where I'm pretty confident I'm going to win, but I'm still trying to go through the motions so I don't screw up anything. Because if I can get, it just should work, but I still want to make sure I get puppet strings out. I still want to.
And you have 26 minutes to think about it.
Yeah, so I don't want to here comes. And I was really debating who I wanted the puppet strings, but I ended up putting it on my caster. Because I know
to make sure you kill or
hit the Mark for Death.
Yeah, what is it like when a Denny can't kill a Doom Reaver?
Well,
fuck you.
And I'm going to max reach to make sure I don't.
Well, she's only mat 5.
Yeah, she is only mat 5. So
boost it and then you buy and boost it. What are the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds of missing both of those?
Yeah,
and then not moving.
100% if you're me.
So there's my hit roll. Easily get it with whatever.
I don't know why you rolled it when it was out of the box. It was
a die.
It's still a die, and it doesn't matter because you have a 6 in the box. And
yeah, but you only mat 5 and you're a 13, so you need an 8.
I needed a 2. So
So if that had been a 1,
neither of them were 1s.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
there's that.
That was my Mark for Death roll.
Yes.
The gods have declared that he is marked for death.
I think you needed a 5 on that, and you still had puppet strings as well.
Yeah. So now I'm like, maybe I should have because I'm going to charge.
You should have used puppet strings to re-roll it because that was too good.
Yeah.
There should be a 4th dice on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the Nightmare is going to do and at first
Brian takes a drink. It's very tense for Brian here.
Oh, yeah,
he doesn't know that the game is already in his back pocket.
I'm just distracted by Brian's erection over the table right now. I'm so excited about.
Well, this would be.
I believe I'm having chit chat with players to my right, talking about what we're going to do afterwards.
Yeah, it's like
You should go see Pacific Rim.
The game is over for me. It would have been nice if someone had told me today while I was at work.
I didn't tell him, Jordan.
You didn't come? Buy your tickets.
I could have told him there's a theater.
Like, you could be like, hey, Jordan, there's a theater over there. God, fuck you all. God. Sons of bitches. How many times I get left out in the cold.
So so now I'm misplacing it. I'm trying to do that. Whenever I make a charge on a caster, I always put a base down first, just out of habit.
Don't worry about it, Brian. I will tell you when something's important to be very direct with measurement.
Jordan is very aware when things become important. So now... I'm debating.
Was it not close enough to just walk?
It would have, but I wanted.
He wanted the extra die of damage on his combo smite or combo
strike. Well, he could have boosted the damage, assuming he hit.
But then it would have been. Doesn't he charge for free?
No, I could have.
No, he doesn't charge for free.
I charged anyway. I should have walked, but I want.
I mean, it's whatever.
Here's where
fun, but you
were gonna roll 3 dice for damage, and realize that you're an 8, and then Prey takes you to 10. I'm a 14 base down to a 12.
To hit me. I do want to say on that topic, just for it's something I always like to stress to players, newer players especially, is that with a Jack or a Beast, if you aren't charging for free and you can walk there, you should.
Yeah, well, it's typically better
because it's 100%. Oh, like one hit. That's that.
It was a combo strike. I think did 16 points.
Yeah,
and then yes, anything else.
I like how it ends. There's no actual. Go away.
Who cut this?
Well, Andy hasn't done any editing yet.
So if we keep talking about... Oh, here comes Andy.
He's like, how does this thing get turned off? I don't know. Hey, it's off. Done. We're done.
Well, that was exciting. I was very excited when I noticed that Nightmare could go through the wall.
Yeah, that was...
yeah. It's fun to use rules. So, thanks for watching. I don't know how to stop this.
We can stop it. I just didn't know if you guys had any post-commentary about it otherwise.
Well, I think if we faced off again, we would both definitely... Because we haven't done that, so... We both learned much more positioning strategies and threat
yes,
ranges.
the E-Denny matchup is not one that I think that I want to have with Doom Reavers. I will play it again. I would give it another shot. I would hope that they have a little bit more infantry than your army did in the future cases. To be honest, though, what I'm really seeing Cryx is I always just see E-Gaspy and something else. The something else is a bunch of mech thralls that they don't want
to take the cookie. I mean, E-Denny is very popular too, but people love to take the very generic standard list. And I try very hard not to take the standard list because that's what's net decked for way too easily.
Right. That is most likely the case. It's usually the Cryx list. They have one that they really don't want to play against me, and then they have E-Gaspy and they put down E-Gaspy. And the clouds are really what concerns me in that list. Everything else is pretty good. Not to say that I have a good matchup, but it is the least worst matchup I think Khador has against E-Gaspy.
Cool. What about Zerkova? She's baller.
Eat a dick.